So how to study for your exam. Passive learning is bad. We already kind of went over that. You can't just become familiar with the material. You have to manipulate it. Recognize the importance and implications of an idea of a fact. Piggyback. Compare and contrast what you're learning and don't know with what you already know. Embody the ideas or facts, right? Personalize them, like hang them on a patient. Patient you might have, if not, then just kind of make up an imaginary patient. What would they be saying? How would they look? What would you be telling them? What would you, like, imagine yourself advising them on, these are the treatment options. And pretend they say, well, tell me more about them, doctor, and then you go on, right? This is actually a good way of studying when you're driving, not listening to content, but manipulating it. Saying like, okay, let me pretend I have a patient with illness anxiety disorder. What would they look like? And how would I treat them? How would I talk to them? What would they say back to me? And then turn information into questions. You could write your own questions as if you were the ABPN question writer. Another thing to moving into a different kind of category, time and place for study. You don't have free time. No one has free time. You must carve it out. Carving out means something else has to go by the wayside. What is it going to be? Sleep? Are you going to give up some patient care hours? Are you going to give up family time, leisure time? What are you going to do? What can you do? Think about it ahead of time. Is it better for you to wake up early and spend a half hour or hour studying? Or maybe you just don't do it during the week, you're too busy, but maybe on Saturday morning or Sunday morning you spend 4 or 5 hours. And then where are you going to do it? Maybe if you're at home, you got kids, they're like all over you. Or if you're in the office, you're like, I shut my door to my office. But you know, I mean, if you're like, you know, seeing patients in the real world, you know, there's always someone going to be knocking. Oh, Dr. Jack, you know, I got a question for you. Or, you know, like the receptionist, the nurse, my colleague, hey, you want to get, where are you going to study? I know people who actually will take the online course and, you know, go to a hotel room for like 4 days or something just to get peace and watch all of the videos or study in whatever ways. Okay, so think about, there's a time and a place for everything, including for study. Think about it ahead of time. Think about individual versus group study. I'm 63. I have never engaged in group study, and I never will. I don't know how to do it. I don't need to do it. It's counterproductive for me. It wastes time. Do I think it's horrible? No. It's horrible for me. For you, it might be great. I'm just saying you got to know kind of like your profile. For some people, it's very energizing. I'll study illness anxiety disorder, and my colleague will study somatic symptom disorder, and then I'll present to her, and she'll present to me, or whatever. You work it out. But have a strategy. Otherwise, you're just going to be, first you're going to be like, you know, complaining about the ABPN for 10 minutes, or maybe for 40 minutes. Right? And then you're going to be like, oh, you know, and I'm so tired. Like, I don't know, I could have read like half a chapter or listened to a lecture and not be, you know, fetching about the ABPN. Let's just agree that we don't like having to do this. You don't have to like it. We don't like it. Good. Let's now move past that. So have a strategy. There are things that are useful, but you have to know what they are, and then you have to be disciplined. You know, I mean, there's a little bit of like, you know, some little chit-chat, you know, you want to be supportive and kind of feel that sense of motivation. But, you know, you got to then move on into some actual learning and not just like, oh, I put in all these hours. Who cares? Study mindset. Let's go through the mindsets. I will make elaborate plans and will not have the time, energy, and motivation to fulfill all of them. That's right. You won't. You might as well admit it. But I will just do my best given the constraints in my life. After all, what else can you do? Let's be reality-based, right? Every minute I spend on active learning incrementally improves my chances of passing. Rather than fretting about all I should have done already, I'll focus on all the additional minutes or hours I still have available to help my chances. So don't worry about like, oh, I should have started earlier. Oh, I didn't do my 5 hours I was planning to do last Saturday. Yeah, all right. Well, figure out what got in your way and do better, but focus on the future. You don't have time to be beating yourself up. Learn from your mistakes. Make changes, but don't beat yourself up because you're the person taking the exam. You're beating up the person who's supposed to be knowing all this stuff and doing well on the exam. So, right? You're not only the beater-upper, you're the beaten up. So don't do that. But learn from your mistakes and make the changes necessary. So, prior to the exam, do the questions. There's different ways of doing of using the question banks. One is just kind of in study mode, flashcard mode. You're just like reading, answering, and reading the explanation. Another time is to do like exam mode and just to see how you're doing on, mood disorders or some other category. But another third way is to do like check your pace out. Because one of the things that always happens is everyone is afraid they're going to run out of time, while most people don't run out of time. So don't kind of go into the exam not knowing how long it takes you to answer questions. Just kind of understand your pace. And at the exam, please note that you may take a long time. You may take every single minute of the exam, or you may take half the time allotted. I like to go pretty quick, not too quick. I know my pace. I know I'm fast, but I'm not too fast. So if my mind's wandering and I don't even know what I read, I have time to reread the question. Take a breath. Say, okay, stop mind drifting. Pay attention. Reread it, and then I just answer it. I rarely second guess myself because I know that's counterproductive for me. So actually going fast, I'm so tense during the exam, I just need to sprint through it. For you, that might be completely different, and that's okay. I will study to the best of my abilities. I will do my best on the exam. I cannot control the outcome, not directly. I may fail, but I want to fail while being true to myself and trusting myself. This is where you have to trust your clinical judgment. People will second guess themselves and try to figure out what the exam writer or question writer was getting at, instead of just like, if this were my patient, this is what I would do. Go with that. That's real. That's real, hard-earned experience. How to take your exam? Look, you're going to hate being there. Don't try to pretend you're going to love being there. Don't try to pretend you're not going to be anxious. It's going to suck, and you're going to be anxious. And if you tell yourself, well, I can't be anxious, I shouldn't be anxious, then you're just adding another criterion that you're going to then probably fail. And then you're going to end up at the exam room anxious before you even start and already feel like you're failing because I was trying not to be anxious, but I'm anxious. So like I'm already screwing up without answering any question. It's crazy. You don't put additional constraints or requirements on yourself. And you know what else is going to happen? You're not going to feel good about the exam going through it. You're not going to feel good about it and when you're done. You're going to be like, damn, I failed. I can't believe how stupid I am. I spent so much study time, I can't believe how badly I'm doing. I'm just a failure. This is stupid. How can I be like... That's because there's 3 categories of questions. There's one category where you're like, it's so simple, I know it. I know pimozide is going to be tested for treatment-resistant Tourette's. I just know it, right? Then there's other questions I'm like, I don't even know what this is talking about. like I just don't know it, I'm not going to fret about it. I'm just going to pick, whatever, A, B, C, who cares? I'm just going to just choose something randomly. Or I'm going to try to eliminate maybe a couple of the completely ridiculous response options and then guess from there, because I really don't know. And sitting around and thinking about it is not going to bring it up. I know that I don't know. So those are two spectrum. I completely know, I completely don't know. There's the biggest categories in the middle. I kind of know, but I'm not sure if this is going to be right. I hope I'm right. Just get used to that. Mark my words, this is how it's going to feel. And that's okay. Why? Just tell yourself everyone else is going through that same experience. I went through it, you're going to go through it. That's just the way it is. Yeah, you're going to feel uncertain and you're going to feel frustrated. But just pick the best answer. I will get many questions wrong. Yes, you will. Usually you can miss a quarter of the questions and still pass the exam. During the exam, I will likely feel anxious, doubt my ability to pass, and feel demoralized. Yep, you will. Okay. Right? Stress inoculation. Yeah, it's going to suck. That's okay. I'm going to try to get a good night's rest. I'm just going to go through it. And then it'll be over. It's just like, those bad hours, they'll be done. What to do on exam? Answer every question. Be true to your exam approach, whether it's slow or fast, whether you check things off to go back and review or you don't. Know your style. And every style is okay. There's one going to be that's right for you. Use breaks. Some people are so afraid of running out of time that they never use the bathroom. And then they try to focus with a full bladder. No, take that break. Right? Even if it's a break that's now cutting into your exam time. It's better to come back with an empty bladder or whatever, or get a drink of water if you're getting dehydrated. Right? And then at the station, just stretch. Because you're probably going to, again, with anxiety, you're going to be tense, so just stretch. Between questions, take a deep breath. And then I have this military approach to take you to focusing on exam questions. Pretend you're a soldier. You can't be thinking about yesterday's battle. An exam, you can't be second guessing, that question I just was doing, I'm not sure if I was right, when you're trying to read the next question. You got to focus on the battle at hand. You got to focus on the question at hand. Because otherwise you're not paying attention to it. If you're always thinking about what happened in the past, you're not actually going to do well on what's in front of your face. And you can worry all you want, you can cry all you want, you can drink as much alcohol as you want, but all after the exam. After the exam, it's going to be a tough time. It's several weeks. I don't know why they take so long. And you're going to be like, I don't know, right? Like I say, I don't know if I passed. I hope I passed. It's just going to kind of suck too. But you're just going to have to tell yourself, I just can't allow myself to constantly be preoccupied with it. There's just no way around it. My worrying about it is not going to make those results come faster. Before the exam, I hated thinking about it. During the exam, I hated being there. After the exam, I won't be able to stop thinking about it. That's to be expected, and I'll just handle it the best I can. I'll try to keep my focus and my cool. What to do if you fail? Take some time, come to terms, review your results, review which topics you did best on, worst on, where is the improvement going to be. And again, don't beat yourself up because that's just counterproductive because you're going to be the beaten up one. And then again, you can reach out to me, whatever, ask questions, People do sometimes, kind of frequently, send me their exam results, and then I kind of say, well, focus on this or that, Silver linings, sometimes failures are most transformative. Sometimes especially if you're really smart and you've never failed, sometimes getting your head handed back on a platter can be kind of good. Okay, yeah, I'm not superhuman, okay. It's a good reset. I failed my psychiatry oral boards twice. That's why I started the company. It was the most life-transforming thing in my life, in my career, failing my oral boards twice. Thank you.